Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transiting North Node in the sign of Aries. So this year we have had three big astrological events. And the first one was Pluto's entering Aquarius for a couple of months, so it gave us a preview of what that transit is going to be like. And then we had Saturn leaving the sign of Aquarius and entering Pisces. And now the third major event is North Node entering Aries. Okay, so this is going to happen on July 17th. The North Node is going to leave Taurus, so it's going to switch from the 0th degree of Taurus to the 29th degree of Aries, because the North Node it travels like backwards. Yeah, it doesn't go from Aries to Taurus, it goes from Taurus to Aries. And so the North Node is going to stay in Aries until January 11th, 2025. Yeah, so a year and a half. So that means for the past year and a half, we had the North Node transiting the sign of Taurus. And around the world, you could really feel the themes of the Taurus themes being emphasized. For example, in the United States, inflation was a big issue. The prices of groceries have gone up, the value of the dollar has decreased. Yeah, so people started worrying a lot about their income, savings especially. What else? The war in Ukraine affected the food supply around the world. For example, countries that are not even involved in the war, they are being affected by it. For example, I remember reading that Morocco is now getting fewer wheat flour, and that means like a bread shortage. Yeah, and that's a big thing for countries that consume a lot of bread. So around the world, people started worrying about like food. Like, what if some random war is gonna like disrupt the food supply, and like what are they gonna do then? So the war really made people think about yeah, food savings, and what else? So Taurus rules money, food. And Russia and China, they started creating like some currency that they're gonna use with some countries. Yeah, and that is a big shift. That's like they're trying to challenge the US dollar's dominance around the world. And so money stuff, that's like super Taurus. So yeah. And then I remember reading recently that the United States approved selling lab-grown chicken meat. When I read that, I thought, wow, that's like really North Node in Taurus. And Uranus is also in Taurus. And Uranus is like innovation. So I guess like they're trying to do something new with food. So yeah. And so now, what should we expect from the North Node in Aries? Aries is a very uncomplicated sign. People tend to associate it with aggression, rage, hot-headedness. But really, in its essence, Aries energy is very straightforward. It's very uncomplicated. It has this caveman mentality, like, I want that, so I'm gonna go after it. And that's beautiful. It should be simple like that, as that. And so yeah, so taking the initiative, going after what you want, not caring about what others think, not waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do. Yeah, that is Aries energy. Aries is very independent. They don't like depending on others. So yeah, so this North Node in Aries should make us more initiating. It should give us like courage to go after the things we want. I feel like individuality is going to be a big thing, okay? Because Aries is a sign of self. It's I am, like me, okay? Me. So yeah, putting yourself first is not a crime. It's good to put yourself first. It's like imagine when you're on an airplane. It tells you that in case of emergency, you should put the mask on yourself first and then help others. Yeah, because if you try to help somebody else, it's like there's a high chance that you guys are both of you are gonna end up dying, right? Like, God forbid. But yeah, so the thing is, like, it's okay to put yourself first. Do what makes you happy first, and then you can help others. Because if you put yourself last and help everyone else, it's like you end up pleasing no one. Yeah. So Aries energy tells you be unapologetically like selfish, but in a good way. Yeah, don't be completely selfish, because that's bad. So yeah, go after the things you want. Start the business that you want. Yeah, Aries energy is very entrepreneurial. It should support that. Individuality, I feel like influencer business stuff is gonna get some sort of boost. Yeah, because influencer social media stuff started when Uranus was in Aries. So yeah, now the eclipses in Aries should somehow push that influencer movement like ahead, I guess. Give it some improvements. What else? Some astrologers say that this transit is gonna escalate wars, because Mars rules wars. It's the god of war after all, and Aries is a very militaristic sign. It can be. So yeah, but I hope there won't be any new wars. I hope not. Maybe there will be like some improvements in the military stuff. It would be a mistake to deny that Aries is very militaristic. Yeah, there might be some improvements in military. There might be some news regarding military, but I hope there won't be any new wars. Yeah. What else? The thing about the North Node, the nodes of the moon, is that they visit each sign once every 18 years. That means last time we had North Node in Aries was in 2005 and 2006. I mean, technically it entered on December 27th, 2004 and stayed in Aries until June 22nd, 2006. Yeah, so a long time ago. It would be a good idea to try to remember what happened. I mean, those of you who are old enough to remember things. Do you remember what happened then? Because this time, obviously, the eclipses that are going to happen in Aries and Libra are going to trigger the same area of your life. And the events are going to be similar, the themes are going to be similar, but obviously the circumstances are going to be different, because the outer planets are in different positions now. Back then, Pluto was in Sagittarius. This time, it's going to be in Aquarius and Capricorn. Yeah. So you see, the circumstances are going to be different, but the themes should be similar. The thing about the North Node in Aries, the last time it entered Aries, I remember the major event back then was that tsunami in Thailand. Do you guys remember that tsunami in the Indian Ocean that killed lots of people? Yeah, it was like, so it happened at the very end of December in 2004. It was like, it happened on December 26th. Yeah, and the North Node entered Aries on 27th. So yeah, right when this shift was about to occur, something major happened. And you know, Taurus is an earth sign. It rules earthquakes. So yeah, that shift, when it was about to leave Taurus, there was this huge underwater earthquake that caused that tsunami. And it was like really sad. So another big thing that I remember from that North Node in Aries back then, 18 years ago, was Hurricane Katrina in the United States. Yeah, that killed a lot of people. It was in August 2005. Yeah, so North Node was in Aries. And then another big thing from that period was YouTube. Yeah, YouTube was created when North Node was in Aries. I mean, I could have done more research, but I was in a hurry. I wanted to make a video before North Node enters Aries. So yeah, I apologize for that. But like for the next videos, I'm gonna do more research to give more detailed examples. So what else? North Node in Aries, as I said, it's like putting yourself first, taking initiatives. The victim mentality that we have like nowadays, it's like an epidemic. It's everywhere. It's like victim Olympics everywhere. I feel like it's because of Neptune in Pisces. It's making us delusional. It's making us feeling like victims of everything. So I hope this North Node in Aries is gonna make us more accountable to ourselves, I guess. You can be like, okay, you know what? I'm the one in charge of my life. I'm the one to blame for everything, so I'm gonna do everything to fix my life. Yeah, I really hope Aries energy is gonna infuse us with that attitude. So now in the second half of this video, I'm going to talk about what this transit is going to mean for each sign. Let's begin with Aries. Aries, you guys are the stars of this North Node in Aries. Okay, it's going to be in your first house, and the South Node is going to be in your seventh house. So yeah, the focus is on you developing yourself, your image, your personality, and the relationships are somehow like not the biggest priority. But like, you know what, I tend to disagree with the astrologers who say that you should completely ignore the South Node. No, like it shouldn't be ignored. So relationships are still gonna be somehow prominent for you guys. Some Aries might even get married. Even though the South Node is in your seventh house. No, so your personality is gonna change. Your status is gonna change because of the changes in your seventh house. So yeah, when you get married, now you're not a single person, right? You're now a married person. So the shift in your first house because of your seventh house, that might happen, or the opposite might happen. Some Aries might decide to split up, get divorced, right? So now because of the divorce in your seventh house, now you're a single person. Your first house changed. Try to remember what happened to you in 2005 and 2006. For me personally, I'm an Aries myself. I don't remember much. Like I was a teenager, so it was like home, school. Yeah, I mean, I remember we went on a vacation with my family, and that was memorable in 2005. What else? Not much, but like physically, yes, I was experiencing changes as a teenager. Like I think that was the time when I had my first crush. Yeah, I had a huge crush on my neighbor, and I think I told him that I have a crush on him. That's like very Aries energy. I guess the North Node was giving me the courage. Back then I didn't know much about astrology. I mean, my mom had like astrology books and stuff, but like, yeah, I guess it was the North Node giving me that energy. So yeah, anyway, what else? I decided to look up the Aries celebrities and what happened to them in 2005 and 2006. So for Heath Ledger, he was still alive back then. He was pretty busy in 2005. Yeah, he had like 3 movies released with him in it. So the Brokeback Mountain, yeah, that was released in 2005. That's like one of his main movies, right? The movies that made him like really popular. And then Casanova, that also came out in 2005. And the interesting thing is, Casanova was also an Aries. Yeah, so an Aries played another Aries. It was interesting. So that movie was released in 2005. And then the Brothers Grimm, I've never seen that movie, but it says it was released in 2005. Ooh, actually not 3 movies, 4 movies. Yeah, because The Lords of Dogtown was also released in 2005. So yeah, he had 4 movies released. That means, so as Aries, we're gonna have like lots of opportunities presented to us to develop, to become more popular, I guess, like in terms of actors, or if it's in your career, you're gonna have a boost. Like your personality, like it's gonna increase your shine, so to speak. So Heath Ledger that year won the Best Actor of 2005 by film critics, and then he became a dad. Yeah, his daughter Matilda was born in 2005 as well. So you can see he was pretty busy in that year when North Node was in his sign. Next, Fergie. You guys remember that? Fergalicious. So it says, according to Wikipedia, that album was recorded in 2005, but was released in 2006. Yeah, but anyway, it was recorded in 2005. And Fergie, you know, she's an Aries, so she recorded this when North Node was in her sign. So she was like working on her solo album to increase her popularity as a solo singer. Next, Mariah Carey. She released the album called Emancipation of Mimi in 2005, and so that album kind of like resurrected her career, because before that it was kind of like going downhill. Yeah, but this album, it sort of like reminded everyone who she is. Yeah, who is the boss, because it broke lots of records. It was #1 for like 14 consecutive weeks. And it was the best-selling album in the United States in 2005. So yeah, that's what Mariah Carey was doing when the North Node was in her sign. And then Celine Dion, she was doing the very successful Vegas residency in 2005, and so in that year they extended the contract for 2 more years because it was just so successful. Yeah. Next, Robert Downey Jr. He got married to his current wife in August 2005. Victoria Beckham had her 3rd son. What else? Russell Crowe. Do you guys remember how he threw a phone at like a hotel worker? Yeah, the scandal that is like associated with him. Like, so that happened in 2005 when the North Node was happening in his sign. Yeah. Keira Knightley, she starred in Pride and Prejudice with a Libra actor. Yeah, so the film was very successful. It was interesting because the North Node was in her sign and the South Node was in the male actor's sign. So I like that movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I would recommend checking it out. So next, Brigitte Macron. Do you guys know the infamous French First Lady? The current French First Lady? Yeah, so she divorced her first husband in 2005. Yeah, and she started dating Emmanuel Macron. And so the thing is, Emmanuel Macron is like 24 years younger than her. She was his teacher. Yeah. So when the North Node was in her sign, she divorced her husband. She was like, you know what, like, enough of this relationship. Yeah, because the South Node in the 7th house. So yeah, I hope this gave you guys some idea of what to expect when the North Node is in our sign. I know that this transit is super rare. It doesn't happen like every other year. It happens once every 18 years. So go ahead and take advantage of this energy. Aries, I need to mention the eclipses that are gonna happen. So the first one, we already had it, even though the North Node hasn't entered Aries yet, but still it was in the early degrees of Taurus. That's why we had the solar eclipse in Aries on April 19th this year. So it should have given you a taste of what to expect. Okay. Next, we're gonna have a solar eclipse in Libra on the 21st degree of Libra this October 14th. Okay, so that should give some focus to your relationships. I hope single Aries meet someone new. Okay, it will be like right after the Venus retrograde, which is gonna finish in early September. So by the time it's October 14th, it will have regained its former strength. So Venus is gonna be in good shape, and it should be a good time to meet someone new. Yeah, I'm single myself, so I'm hoping to meet someone new. Next, lunar eclipse is gonna be on the 5th degree of Libra next year, March 24th. Okay, again, relationship focus. And then we're gonna have a solar eclipse on the 19th degree of Aries on April 8th, 2024. Yeah, so those of you Aries who were born on April 8th or March 24th, you guys are gonna have eclipse on your birthday chart. So that means you're gonna have an important year ahead of you. And I forgot to mention the same thing for the Aries that were born on April 19th. Okay, so this year you guys had we had the first solar eclipse. Yeah, I was born on April 19th, so I had this solar eclipse in my birthday chart. And now look at me, I made this YouTube channel, started like expressing my creativity, because the sun is creativity, right? What else? The solar eclipse, next year on April 8th, I mentioned that, and then we're gonna have another solar eclipse on the 9th degree of Aries in March of 2025. Yeah. So, what else do I need to mention? So the North Node is gonna be in your first house. It's gonna, if you are thinking of working out, this will be an excellent time to get in shape. Those of you who already do work out, continue doing so, I guess. This should give us a blessing in athletics, because Aries rules sports. Military-wise, there's gonna be improvements in the military. What else? Leadership, business. If you are thinking of starting your own business, go ahead and do it, because the stars are supporting you. Okay. Now let's talk about the Tauruses. Tauruses, for you, this will be your 12th house. Finally, you'll get to rest. For the past year and a half, the North Node was in your first house, so there was lots of movement, activity in your first house. Okay, lots of lights shining on you, lots of activity. It must have been exhausting. Yes, eclipses bring big changes, big events. You must have been exhausted after all of that. So now the North Node, the eclipses are gonna start happening in your 12th house, and 12th house is the furthest from your first house, right? So it's the house of isolation. It's the house of rest. So now you get to rest. People are gonna leave you alone, and I feel like Tauruses, you want that. You guys like peace. Yeah. So for the next year and a half, you can recover from all the activity, from all the exhaustion. Take your well-deserved break. And especially with that Uranus in Taurus, I feel like you guys are tired of all the surprises that Uranus keeps giving. But hang in there. You're almost at the end of Uranus in Taurus, okay? It's gonna leave your sign in a couple of years. And as an Aries, I had Uranus in Aries in the previous decade for most of it, and it was exhausting. Uranus and Aries energy, they are compatible, because they are all about impulse actions, but still I was exhausted. And now Tauruses, who are very peace loving, who don't like changes, you guys are probably extra exhausted. So I feel you are seen. You can do it, okay? A couple more years. And so, as I said, it's gonna be more on isolation. You're gonna feel isolated, I guess. Sorry, these pickup trucks are so loud. But anyway, what else? From my personal experience, when I had the North Node transiting through my 12th house, yes, I felt isolated. I mean, I was in a foreign country. I was working in Thailand at the time, and I was living by myself. I was far away from my family. I didn't have many friends because I was in a new country, and so I would hang out mostly with my coworkers. And at the time, I was working a lot, and so it felt like all I do is work and go home, work, go home. Yeah, I mean, I did have fun in between work, but it was mostly just me hanging out by myself. So those are pretty much 12th house themes, faraway land. That is 12th house too. And isolation, the loneliness. Yeah, but I probably made it sound really terrifying, but don't worry, you're not gonna be not all Tauruses are gonna end up in a foreign country, obviously. But yes, you're gonna feel people have finally left you alone. You can use this time to be like a hermit, to look within, to recover, to rest. So gain that energy, get that rest, so that when the North Node enters your 11th house, you will have energy to start making new friends. Yeah, and so I guess that's all I can say for Tauruses. Next, I should mention that even though the North Node is gonna leave your sign, that doesn't mean that the eclipses are gonna stop happening in your sign. You guys still have a couple more eclipses in Scorpio and Taurus this year, okay? So yeah, you still have a little bit of eclipse stuff left. But anyway, next year you guys should be completely like free of eclipses. And you have that Jupiter in Taurus, so use that energy for expansion, for travel. And so yeah. And next we have Geminis. Geminis, for you, North Node is your 11th house, okay? For Gemini risings. This is your 11th house, and 11th house is your friendship house. As I just explained it to the Tauruses, the 12th house was the house of isolation. So remember, Geminis, you guys had eclipses in your sign. The North Node was in your sign in 2020 until like 2021, I believe. Yeah, like late 2021. So that probably gave lots of action in your first house, in your personality. Lots of activity, lots of changes. And so after all of that noise, you had the North Node enter your 12th house, and that probably gave you a bit of peace, time to recover. Okay, so now you have had your rest, and now the focus shifts to your friendship house. So now you have the energy to start making friends, to be out and about. Okay. So yeah, like the North Node in Aries in your 11th house is gonna give you energy to go after the things you believe in. 11th house is a very humanitarian house. Okay, it's like it's a friendship house, but it's also the house of like-minded people. Yeah, where you have this common goal, and you guys are working towards it. So yeah, you might join groups like that, organizations, make new friends. Okay, and so while the North Node is in your 11th house, the South Node is gonna be in your 5th house, and so 5th house is gonna be like making you put like flirting, dating, brief dating into like the background, I guess. So the priority is given to your friendships, not like lovers. Yeah, so you might make new friends. Yeah, it's a good time to make good friends, to meet like-minded people. Yeah, so it can be great for like networking too. And Geminis, you guys are excellent at this. So yeah, and that's all I can say about the Geminis. And now Cancers. This is gonna be in your 10th house. 10th house is the house of your career, your social standing, your status. Okay. So this means that that for the next year and a half, the focus is on your career. It can be a great time to make progress, to get promotions in your career. Your social status might change somehow. Okay, for the better, because this is a North Node. South Node is where we kind of like let go, the release point, while the North Node is like where we expand. Yeah, so for you, your home life is not going to be getting as much attention from you, because the South Node is going to be in your 4th house. So yeah, so home life for the next year and a half is going to be still important, but like not as important as your career. Yeah. The eclipses are going to be happening in your 10th house and 4th house. So that means you might have to move because of your work. Okay, because 4th house is where we live, and 10th house is the career. Yeah. What else can I say? It can be a good time to open a business. 10th house is like business, career. So yeah, you might some of you might become parents, because becoming a parent changes your social status, right? And then what else? Yeah. Okay, never mind. Next is Leo. For Leos, this is your 9th house. 9th house should be exciting. It's a very fun house. It's very optimistic. It's very worldly. Like this is a house where we think about the entire world, not just like our small neighborhood or like our family or home life. No, 9th house is where we think globally. Where we think about exotic places. Yeah. So A lot of Leos, you guys are gonna travel to some new place for the first time, and that is exciting. Like, let me give you an example from my mother's life. My mom is a Leo, and in 2005, she traveled to Thailand for the first time. Yeah, and she loved it, and she has been going there on vacation since then. Yeah, so it's, I hope you get the idea. You guys are highly likely to travel somewhere new in the next year and a half. And so what else? Some Leos might decide to get a degree. Some Leos might start university, might start going to university in the next year and a half. For a lot of Leos, it might happen. And then other Leos might decide to get their master's degree or PhD, or enroll in some courses, okay, to improve your skills. Yeah, because the ninth house is not only traveling but also learning. For other Leos, it might be about getting published. I mean, yeah, publishing. Because the ninth house rules publishing. So Leos, those of you who are thinking of writing a book, go ahead and do it, because you have this blessing from the stars, okay? If you already have a book written, the manuscript, go ahead and submit, because you can have it approved and have your book published. What else? The ninth house is the house of religion as well, philosophy. So some Leos might start studying some philosophy or religion more in depth now. Maybe you will be interested in some new religion. Okay. And so yeah, the south node for Leos is gonna be in your third house. Yeah, so your third house is like short distance travel. So you might not want to travel within your country to but might want to prefer traveling to somewhere like far away. Okay. What else? School work, like high school stuff. Yeah, that's also ruled by third house. So maybe you are finishing school and leaving the high school behind and now focusing on university. For some Leos, that might be the interpretation of this energy. So yeah. What else? Next is Virgo. Virgo, for you, this north node is going to be in your 8th house. And 8th house is the house of loans, the money that we owe. It's the house of shared resources. It's also the house of intimacy, okay, where we are vulnerable with our partners. Yeah, because the 7th house is where we are dating. We keep everything nice, right? Kind of like superficial almost. But 8th house is where it gets real. Yeah, it's like after you get married, you kind of like, you don't have to pretend anymore, and you reveal your true self. You start sharing your yeah, I mean, some people do that before they even get married, but anyway, like roughly speaking, I mean. So Virgos, for some Virgos, this might mean that you will pay off some loan. Yay! I'm Virgo rising myself, so, and I will be paying off student loans in the next couple of years. I don't have that much in student loans, and I'm planning on paying it off as soon as possible. So I will be debt free, hopefully by the end of this transit. So yeah, that is what this transit might mean. Another interpretation might mean that you might not have a loan right now, but you might get it, and it's a good thing sometimes. You know, maybe you are thinking of buying a house, so that means your mortgage is going to be approved by the bank. Yeah, so that's good. What else? Virgos, you might finally, like, I mean, some single Virgos might finally start dating and get that intimacy finally. Yeah, because 8th house is intimacy. And so the south node is going to be in your 2nd house. So your resources, your partner's resources, yeah, there's going to be like an activity between those two houses. What else? You might okay, so 2nd house is your resources, right? But like eighth house is the shared resources, so maybe now you will start sharing your resources with someone, not just like relying on your own salary, but like because you have that commitment, now you can start sharing your resources with somebody. Yeah, that is one of the possible interpretations. So eighth house is also the house of transformations, so the theme of transformation is gonna be important. Like some people might think, oh, transformation, do they mean like complete plastic surgery? No, it doesn't mean something like that. It's like metaphorically you shed your old skin. Like we might think that like we are the same all the time, but like in hindsight we realize that we're not the same anymore. Yeah, so changes occur without us even realizing. So that means like when the north node is in your eighth house, you're gonna transform without even realizing it. Yeah, maybe you will realize it. Maybe you will start like working actively like on changing your appearance. Yeah, that is transformation still, right? Okay. Next we have Libras. Libras, this is in your seventh house, so yay, a lot of Libras are gonna get married, as well as Aries. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but like try to pay attention to like try to think about the Tauruses and Scorpios in your life. I'm sure quite a few of them got married or like got divorced. Yeah, so lots of activities were going on in their relationship houses. So in the past year and a half, I mean. So now that means it's your turn to experience those. So yeah, the north node is in your seventh house, and so the eclipses are going to be happening there. Single Libras are going to meet someone new, yay. And those of you who are already in a relationship, it's time to like upgrade your relationship to the next level. Yes, some of you will get married, and that is exciting. And so yeah, relationships for you. And Libras, you guys are a sign of relationships, so this is like your time. For the first time in 18 years. Try to remember what happened in 2005 and 2006. Yeah, some of you might have been like too young to remember, but those of you who were old enough to remember, yeah, you guys will probably notice that you had some relationship themes going on back then as well. Maybe you had your first boyfriend back then, or your first relationship. Yeah. And so you get the idea. So seventh house is not only like love relationships, it's also business partnerships. So those of you who are already married, you might start a business with some partner. This can also mean that. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get divorced. No, you might find a business partner that you can work with. Okay. And so yeah. The first house, the south node is going to be in your first house, so you are going to not put yourself first. This in your case, you're going to put your relationships first during this period. Yeah, Aries will be the ones putting themselves first. Yeah, but still you get a win-win. Like Libras might get married, and that is exciting. I'm happy for Libras. Next, Scorpios, for you, Aries, that is your sixth house. Sixth house, there's nothing exciting in the sixth house, to be honest. It's the house of routine, health, the work that we do every day. It's the house of pets. I mean, pets are exciting. But anyway, so yeah, the shift, the energy is going to be focused on your routines, your health. You're gonna start thinking about like your exercising routine. How do you take care of your body? What kind of food you consume? What else? Maybe you will get a new pet. Okay. What else? Your work. Maybe you start working on improving your skills for work. Okay. And then like this. So when the north node is in your sixth house, that means the south node is in your 12th house. So yeah, I feel like rest is not your priority now. It's focus is on your work. Yeah, like no time to be lazy, sort of. I mean, Scorpios are not lazy. Yeah, you can't say Scorpios and ladies. So you're gonna be focused on work. The eclipses in your like everyday work house is gonna bring like some projects. Probably you'll have lots of projects at work. Sixth house is also the house of services, okay, and employees. So Scorpios who own businesses, you might hire employees now. You can get like good employees, so it's a good time to hire. Or maybe you'll fire some employees. Yeah. So that is the meaning of North Node in Aries for you guys. Next, after Scorpios, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is in your fifth house. Fifth house is a house of fun, romance, flirting, like short-term dating. Yeah, it's also the house of children. It's the house of creativity. So you will have eclipses happening in that area of your life. Maybe some Sagittarius are going to become parents, or those of you who are already parents, you will, I don't know, spend more time with your children. Maybe you'll go on some memorable vacation with your children. Yeah, and maybe your child, those Sagittarius who are old enough, who have like children that are adults now, something good is going to happen in your children's life. Yeah, because fifth house is the house of your children. So new developments in your children's life. So for Sagittarius who are creative, yeah, you will be really creative during this time. So use that energy like to the maximum, like squeeze all the juices out of this creative energy, so to speak. What else? I said fun, hobbies. Maybe some of you will find a new hobby and you'll work on like improving that hobby. Okay. So I feel like I'm forgetting mentioning something. So house, creativity, children, I mentioned all of that. Your inner child. Yeah, so fifth house is not only like children that are like outside of us, but like children, like inner child that is like within us as well. So yeah, you're gonna wanna spoil your inner child. So whatever the thing that you couldn't get as a child, buy it now and you'll feel good. So yeah, and that means so for Sagittarius, the focus is in your fifth house. Fun, creative house is the way you express your creativity. It's the house of sun, so that's where we shine. And so the sun is like selfishness, right? So now you put yourself first and you don't put your friends first, because the south node is going to be in your 11th house, the friendship house. So yeah, friendships are not going to be your priority for the next year and a half. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're gonna like stop talking to your friends, obviously not. Yeah, it's just I'm just saying that your creativity, yourself, your fun and your dating is gonna be more of a priority for you in the next year and a half. Yeah. Okay, so next we have Capricorns. Capricorns, this North Node is gonna enter your 4th house. Okay, your family life, the place where you live, is gonna see some improvements. A lot of Capricorns might move. My dad is a Capricorn, by the way, and he is going to move soon. Yeah, he's gonna move to Istanbul when the North Node enters his 4th house. Yeah, so that should be exciting. And he has like Cancer rising, so it's gonna be in his 10th house. So yeah, because as he moves, he's gonna have a new job. Yeah, so for Capricorns, so some Capricorns might move. Other Capricorns might buy a new house, while other Capricorns they might make some improvements in their house. Okay, maybe you wanted to, like, I don't know, destroy some wall and make the room bigger. You're gonna finally do that. You're gonna have time to do that. What else? Maybe you will buy a vacation home somewhere, or maybe like your family is gonna expand somehow. Maybe you will become a grandparent, maybe you will become a parent. I don't know. So something going on in your family life. So Cancer is your partnership house, right? And so for your partners, there's gonna be a lot of activity going on in their career house. So that means you are going to take care of the house matters while your partner is focusing on their career. This can be one of the possible interpretations. So yeah. The South Node is going to be in your 10th house. So the next year and a half, Capricorns, you should relax a little bit regarding career matters and focus on your family, okay? I know Capricorns, you guys are very hardworking. You guys love work. You guys are always good with like practical advice, okay? But now, when the North Node and the eclipses are happening in your 4th house, let yourself rest a little bit. Yeah. Don't worry too much about career stuff. Because the South Node in the career house, it's gonna make you, don't expect too many advances in career, I guess, during this period. It doesn't mean it's not gonna give you any work. No, please don't think of it in that way. You might still get a job, but you will have to move because of that job, because the 4th house eclipses are gonna make you change your residence because of that. Yeah. So anyway, next is Aquarius. Aquarius, for you, this is your 3rd house. 3rd house is like a Gemini house. It's very chatty, it's very lighthearted, very mutable, very changeable, okay? So some Aquariuses, you might buy a new phone. As ridiculous as this might sound, but like 3rd house is a house of communication, and we communicate with our phones, right? So for some Aquariuses, you will renew your smartphone if you haven't done so in a while. For others, for other Aquariuses, this might mean you get a new car, because the 3rd house is a house of movements as well. As I said, it's very mutable. It's like very active. So and it's short distance travels. So yeah, you get a car to travel to short distances, right? Yeah, and what else? It can be a good time to express yourself, because 3rd house is like mercurial house. It allows you to choose the right words. If you want to write a book or something, it will be a really good time to do so, because the words will come easily. Yeah, it can be a good time for blogging. So communication, blogging, self-expression, short distance travels are gonna be prominent for you. This siblings as well. So something good in the life of your siblings is gonna be like, because 3rd house is siblings. So maybe your sibling is gonna get married, or maybe your sibling is gonna achieve something. Maybe your sibling is gonna become popular, or maybe become rich because they opened a business or something. Yeah. So what else? The South Node is going to be in your 9th house. That means like the long distance travel is not going to be on your priority list, so to speak. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not going to travel to faraway places. No, you might still travel, but the focus is going to be mostly on the short distance travel. Yeah, so let's say you wanted to travel to like the neighboring state and see something there. It's a good time to do that. Or traveling within the country. Yeah, if you live in a smaller country, it's a good time to do so. So yeah, next, what was I gonna say? Next is Pisces. Pisces, and this is your 2nd house. 2nd house is the money house, and money is always exciting, right? I mean, Pisces, you guys are spiritual, but still, money is always good. Yeah, so your finances are gonna be in the focus. You might start earning money in a new way, okay? Because the 2nd house, the eclipses are gonna be there. Like as I said in the beginning of this video, you get eclipses, you get the North Node in your 2nd house once only in 18 years. This is very rare, Pisces. So use this energy, like to start making new money, to start making money in a new way. Yeah. So what else? 2nd house is also the house of possessions. So maybe you will acquire something valuable. Maybe you will buy lots of like jewelry. I don't know. That is still valuable, right? Like a 2nd house is owning. So what else? You might become financially independent, actually. I was gonna say, like, the south node is gonna be in your eighth house. Eighth house is the house of shared resources. So now, instead of like relying on your partner's money, maybe you start relying on your own money. Maybe you start making your own money. I mean, some Pisces, not all Pisces. Obviously, a lot of Pisces, a lot of you are already independent, right? So your finances are gonna get a boost somehow. Also, it's a good time to start learning about money. As crazy as this might sound, it's never too late to learn more about money, about finances, because it's such a complicated topic. Nobody really teaches us how to manage money and stuff in schools. Our parents, a lot of us are from middle class families, and yeah, so all we learned was like work, save money, work hard. But like obviously in modern world, we need to learn how to invest, and like I'll be honest, I don't know much about investing. So yeah, when the North Node is in your second house, it's a good time to learn about like investing, how to save money, what are the new ways to earn money, like the side hustle maybe. Yeah, so actively learn those things. Use this energy because it happens only once every 18 years. Yeah. So what else? The South Node in your 8th house might mean that you will finally finish paying off some loan, because 8th house is the house of loans. Yeah. So, and South Node is something that we release. Yeah. So a lot of Pisces, congratulations, you might finish paying off for some loan. Yeah. That has been like bothering you for a while. And so after North Node leaves Aries, it's gonna enter your sign. Yeah, so use this time to kind of like get your finances together, learn how to manage money, because when the eclipses start happening in your first house, yeah, you will have all the green light to improve yourself. Yeah, your image, your personality, your social standing. Yeah, so start working on gathering that energy. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope the North Node in Aries is not gonna be violent. Okay, I hope it will make us leaders of our own lives, make us our own bosses. I hope we all start doing the things that need to be done. All right. And I hope you guys have a pleasant North Node in Aries, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And by the way, if you like this video, please subscribe. Okay, I would really appreciate that. Bye.